The people who are in jail are scared and overwhelmed and confused.
One of the impacts of the pandemic remains unseen by many. Inside the jail cells of King County, people accused of crimes are waiting for a trial that may seemingly never come.
We're really just stalling on everything. It's really hard to explain to someone who's got the weight of a serious charge on them why you can't get anything done or what's going on. So it's just sort of like being in a permanent holding pattern.
On November 20th, jury trials were shut down for the second time since the beginning of the pandemic. This is now the reality for the criminally accused, innocent or guilty, and the attorneys like Rebecca Bradlow who represent them.
I'm continually impressed when I talk to people who are in jail that they stay calm. I can't imagine what kind of emotional and mental strength that takes.
Well, I just completed a jury trial last month where, because of the court closure, this client ended up waiting in jail the entire time before trial, to the extent that even when he lost his trial, he had all of his time served.
Sound unconstitutional? In reality, it's not. Attorney Hong Tran says that the notion of a speedy trial is often misunderstood by the public.
They think that that's a hard and fast rule that can never be changed. It's not realistic.
In Washington state, someone charged with a crime has a right to a trial within 60 days, but that can change during times like a pandemic. But there's another impact of the court shutdowns that attorneys say is the harshest of all. Innocent clients are proclaiming themselves guilty just to end their seemingly endless time in jail.
And that's a horrible testament to how the criminal justice process should proceed. And that's the reality of how the impact of these shutdowns impact clients, that people are forced to take deals when they're innocent of charges.
One of Tran's clients sat in jail for 6 months. While he was in jail, his wife emptied his bank account.
He ended up taking a deal just to get out of jail so that he could rectify the situation. And he's having to deal with some consequences having taken this deal that he otherwise would not have taken if his case would have gotten to trial.
No one signs up to be a public defender because it's an easy job. An essential part of our job, though, is to do jury trials, and we can't do that part of our job right now.
The courts have tried to lessen the amount of people in the courtrooms by holding proceedings over Zoom, but technical difficulties are common. If jurors have connection issues or get kicked out of the Zoom session, they'll have to show up at this court behind me in person.
When jury trials were going on, we were doing a lot of trials. It felt very unsafe, to be honest. There were so many people packed into the courtroom. It's impossible to do trials safely while there's COVID going on.
In the late summer, early fall, I went to trial with a guy who was in his early 60s, and he was definitely scared of getting COVID. And, I was too. And, we went ahead with it anyway because the court made us.
Defense attorney Scott Carter Eldred is immunocompromised, but his cases still require him to visit his clients in person.
And I have to go to the jail this afternoon. I'm not happy about it. I have nightmares about it, about catching COVID all the time.
Trials are set to begin again in January, but not without consequences of the closure. When jury trials began again after the first shutdown, there was a backlog of over 500 trials.
There are a limited number of judges in King County and a seemingly unlimited number of criminal cases that are filed.
And so you can imagine in a big county like King County, when they only start up doing 2 trials at a time with all the backlog, they weren't getting that far into the backlog.
Now that jury trials have closed again, another bottleneck is expected.
I alone have 5 or 6 trials set for the first day that the trials are supposed to begin again.
The number of serious cases, domestic violence and homicides have really escalated during this pandemic. And so we are just overwhelmed with cases.
Despite the pandemic's impact on the criminal justice system, public defense attorneys have found a silver lining.
We, of course, as public defenders, have more work than we can reasonably manage. And so having a break from jury trials allows us more time to work on all of our cases.
In Seattle, I'm Vonnai Phair, Murrow News 8.